I don't know if I should say welcome to my channel. Honestly, I don't know if I should say that, but it's been a while since I posted something. And like I said in the last video, I mentioned that I want to post something because for me it makes sense. There's a meaning to it, and hence that's why I'm doing it. But I think also importantly, it is a reminder that I'm doing it for myself more than anyone else. I think this will sort of help me in the years and the months to come when I sit down and I look back and I'm like, actually, I said this, and it's gonna help me somehow, I think. Um, but yeah, nonetheless, I don't know. And I did say that mostly I'm going to be talking about spiritual things, and spiritual things would be anything that feeds your spirit, anything that would um sort of help you grow spiritually. But again, we always have to remind ourselves that sometimes it's the other factors or other departments in our lives that feeds our spirit or that heals us somehow. But anyway, so today's topic is, what are you doing with your 24 hours? Oftentimes when we talk about, when for example I listen to quite a lot of motivational speech and talks by like a lot of people, Les Brown, and in one of those motivational talks they'll say, what are you doing with your 24 hours? Show me your schedule and I will tell you where you will be in the next 5 years. And most of the time when we talk about this, we talk about this 24 hours, the reward ya thing is monetary. Ke tjhelete. The reward ya thing would be if you put so much work, if you put so much time and hard work at work, kumsebenzi, your reward will be you'll get a raise, you'll get a better position. But we never do this, or we never apply this in the other areas of our lives. So oftentimes people will talk about self-love, and people sometimes don't even know where do they begin when they talk about self-love. They don't even know how to express themselves. They don't know how to love themselves. But it's because we think it's something that is far from Rona. And I want to combine that self-love, and I want to combine this, what are you doing with your 24 hours, for me to make you understand what I mean by that. This 24 hours, the saying, you need to apply it in all the areas of your life. And these areas of your life I've divided into 5. It's your spiritual self, it's your emotional self, it's your mental self, it's your physical self, and another category ediling is your work, um, and how you apply yourself kumsebenzi. And work-life balance, guys. Work-life balance doesn't mean kumsebenzi I have to put 10%, 10%, 10%, the side 10%, and all together everything will be balanced. No, that's not how I understand it. So again, the question is, what are you doing with your 24 hours? And I mean applying this to every areas or every department of your life. As much as motivational talks or motivational speeches or motivational people or life coaches would say, what are you doing with your 24 hours? And we are talking about the end result of it, or the reward would be monetary, would be money. Every other areas of our lives, you do need to get that reward, or the reward would be different. So I'm gonna make an example. So let's talk about the spiritual self. And my question is, what are you doing with your 24 hours, that at the end of that one day, your spiritual self has you've been impacted somehow, you've grown somehow. And these are little things. are you praying, for example, every day? Do you wake up, maybe for example at 9 o'clock, you pray, before you sleep, you decide to read the Bible. What other different things within that 24 hours are you doing to help you grow spiritually? So when we say that, what are you doing with your 24 hours? It's not specifically komsebeting, or if you're an entrepreneur, what you put in komsebeting. It means other areas of your lives. So what are you doing with your 24 hours that would feed your spirit? Because at the end of the day, you will have a much calm spirit. So you know what, your area is just peaceful, and every time when you enter into a certain space, people can just feel, man, yes, ugel is her soul is beautiful, her soul is calm, and that's what we want. So the question is, what are you doing with your 24 hours relating to your spirit? Are you praying? Are you giving tenth? What different ways are you communicating to God? So for example, I believe Mudimu, and I believe in the Holy Spirit. So what am I doing in my 24 hours, at the end of the day, or in the next few years, or whatever? How is it building my spirit? Yeah, that's firstly. Secondly, what are you doing with your 24 hours and relating to the department emsebenzini? Whether whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever, the reward at the end is you getting opportunities. The reward at the end is you getting a raise. The reward at the end, whatever. But as I said, every department or every sector of your life in a different reward. So in terms of komsebeting, in terms of your work, you'll get more opportunities and money and whatever. So what are you doing with your 24 hours at work? Meaning, when you enter komsebeting, the people that you surround yourself, komsebeting, just the little things. Are you reading? There's one of the motivational talks I'm listening to, and then it explains that if you have a problem and you don't know how to solve it, write the problem down and write the different solutions. So as you keep on looking for different solutions to sort of help you in your workspace, or even if it's just your work, if you're a salesperson, finding different sales techniques, asking other people how they do their work. If you're a doctor and you are trying to heal a patient or whatever, and what are you doing? Like, are you finding 5 different ways in order to solve that problem? But basically, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter but what are you doing with your 24 hours? Because that would give you the return sale. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing with your 24 hours? And in this department, I'm talking about the mental self. What are you feeding your mind in that 24 hours that you get? Because there's a saying that most motivational people will say, that there's a difference between Muto Oling successful and Muto Sing and Osing successful. And the thing is, it is what they do with their 24 hours. But we shouldn't specify, we shouldn't make it just for the reward at the end would be monetary, but we have to apply that with all the things in our lives. So as I said, I'm going to focus on now the mental side of things. So what are you doing with your 24 hours? So are you listening to, what kind of things are you listening to that is feeding your mind? So when you are listening to gossip, when you are listening to bad things, and that's what you are feeding your mind. But if you're listening to motivational talks, when you're listening to people telling you positive stories, it starts in the mind, and it's that awakening that you have. Actually, let me you start seeing a little bit of change when you start feeding your mind with positive things, and your attitude also changes as well. So what are you doing with your 24 hours? And I'm talking about your physical self. So I was listening to, what's this channel, Mpumi Ledwaba, and she was explaining how she's in this 5 a.m. club, and I'm like, oh. And because I was complaining a lot, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't go back to gym. And not that I can't go back, but it's a little tricky and a bit challenging now. However, I want to go back and so forth, and also because I had a goal that I need to reach 42 kilometers. And it's not hard. It's something I know it's doable because I've ran 32 kilometers, even if I did it like after cut-off time. But the fact is I finished the race, and therefore that means I can do 42 kilometers. Come on now. So the question is, what are you doing with your 24 hours? And when we are looking at that physical form or the physical department of it, are you running? Are you now these people are stopping me. So the question is, are you waking up in the morning running? Are you eating healthy? So you need to feed your body with things that are healthy, so that but English. But what are you doing with your 24 hours and relating to your body or relating to your physique? It's brushing your hair, it's dressing up nice, or dressing up sharp. It doesn't matter what clothes you have, but and waking up in the morning and exercising, and what else, eating healthy. But what are you doing with your 24 hours that at the end of the day you are feeding this physique? So so concerned about their body, they eat healthy, they exercise, they sprint, they do squats, and you can see the results at the end. Girl, but what are you doing with your 24 hours? And lastly, it is, what are you doing with your 24 hours? And this is relating to your emotion. Are you in touch with your emotion? So for example, if there's anything, areas in your life where there's certain things you don't like or you love, or but are you in touch with your feelings? And when I'm saying, are you in touch with your feelings or your emotions, it doesn't matter whether you are feeling bad, you are feeling good. Are you a person who kwatanga speedy? So if you kwataka speedy and you're in touch with those feelings, or you're awakened by the fact that kwataka speedy, it is trying different ways to assist yourself. When you get to a certain situation, you don't just sometimes, but what are the weaknesses that we have? What are the strengths that we have emotionally? Do you give yourself time to sit alone and indulge in the way you feel, whether it's about your partner, about your parents, about the people at work, and how you react to certain things and how you can change those things? Because not always these reactions are good, but there's certain things you can learn to control. Actually, I didn't add about relationship. So what are you doing with your 24 hours? And this is relating to your relationship. If you can put so much work in, so much hard work and energy and everything in your physical self, in your emotional self, your mental self, your workspace, your mental self, your spiritual self. The question is, if you are then in a relationship, then what are you doing, or what are you doing with your 24 hours relating to your relationship? Like in the morning, if you're married and you guys are living together and so forth, obviously. In a relationship, do you kiss your partner goodbye? Baby, ngiyakuthanda, I love you, baby. Enjoy your day, whatever, and you go to work. In the tea time, or when you get like some time or whatever during the day at 10 o'clock, at 11, whatever, you send your partner an SMS to say, oh baby, I missed you, or I love you, or how's your day so far? I know you had a meeting, how did the meeting go? Whatever. It's in the afternoon, for example, before you leave. Hey baby, how far are you? Have you arrived at home? Have you cooked? Do I need to bring something? Whatever. But what is it that you are doing with your 24 hours relating to your relationship? So we often talk about this 24-hour energy and putting hard work to it, and we mostly relate it to our workspace. And because at the end of the day, you will be getting that reward, that monetary reward, that good opportunities. But if we do that with all the other areas of our lives, everything in alimpuso wa yona. So spiritually you'll be more calm, your soul will be beautiful, and but how can in the space but you can feel, oh man, this woman has a very beautiful, you know. Emotionally people can feel that, and those are the rewards. Like emotionally you are in touch with your emotions, and you are able to say, actually, I don't need to do this, I don't need to feel this way, I don't need to react in a certain way. Mentally you are always, your mind, regardless of the challenges you may meet, but you are always you're always keeping a positive mind and a positive attitude. That's the reward. The opportunities that I did mention. And physically you'll have this nice toned body, and in your relationship as well, when you go home, you're going home to a much happier home. So and that's the work life balance. That I think that people should be working towards. So the question is, what are you doing with your 24 hours? And it should not be specific to just your work, or the reward at the end would be opportunities and money value or whatever, but this has to be done with all the other areas of your life. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you are watching, thank you for those who subscribed. And I think this is just a reminder for myself, and a push for myself, for my self-development and my self-love, and yeah, and maybe you know what, in the next 21 days I must wake up in the morning and run or jog, because I'm trying to sort of feed all the other areas of my life. And it doesn't have to be something where it's kanje. You know, it's a journey, so take your time, do it. You'll make mistakes, it's okay. But that's the question, is what are you doing with your 24 hours? And I'm not saying at work, but I mean, what are you doing with your 24 hours with all the other areas of your life? Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in your relationship. What are you doing with your 24 hours? And thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna leave you with this.
It's easy to get in a big, average, miserable rut. What's not easy is putting in the work when you don't feel like it. What's not easy is continuing to raise the bar when everyone around you remains the same. When that little voice inside you is saying, don't be too great, too ambitious, you won't fit in. What's not easy is having massive dreams and working for them. Because most people don't and most people won't. What's not easy is setting your goals so high, people actually think you're insane. You will not get to the top of the mountain.
Continue listening, guys.
It's all uphill. It's a challenge. A challenge that will build strength, pride.